What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility in the stock price, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off with macro data, don't really have too much. On Tuesday, we have the manufacturing. Current forecast for that is ranging from 49.5 to 49.9. Anything below 50 shows more of a contraction. Anything above 50 shows more of an expansion. We also did have on the 26th, the National People's Congress Standing Committee conclude, and so far they haven't issued their final report. So we'll have to kind of wait and see how that does turn out, because potentially they could be open to more stimulus. So that's going to be maybe a good catalyst. But in reality, even though this week is shorter, so January the 1st, the market is closed because of New Year's. But this week is going to be a very big deal for NIO because they're going to be putting out their December numbers. And so that could be a good catalyst. I feel like a lot of institutions and retail are kind of holding their breath to see how that does actually turn out. So if positive, then you could see a very nice recovery. If not, then you could see obviously further consolidation. On a technical standpoint, this upcoming week, it kind of looks like there could be a recovery, but again, it's all going to come down to their numbers. Aside from that, though, there really isn't anything planned associated to NIO, and over the weekend, there really hasn't been all that much. The only thing kind of worthwhile to bring up is that Firefly had a kind of get-together of owners, and this is cool. Kind of looks like a little bit more of a game show in reality, but nonetheless, definitely good stuff. Shows that there's a strong community there, but still, this isn't really a good reason to buy NIO or sell. It's just more of a good FYI. Aside from that, though, this is the last week in Q4, so most likely you could be seeing some institutions kind of buying as they will have to rebalance, because NIO in Q4, it did lag a little bit. So for those institutions that have a fixed percentage of NIO, then again, they would have to buy. So you might be seeing some abnormal transactions as I see them, whether that be on the secondary market or on the dark pool. I will bring it up. Aside from that, though, looking at shorts, going into this upcoming week, 8.25% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 168 million shares overall being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 0.99. That's an annual rate, not a daily rate, so kind of on the low end. Short score is 59.09. So even though a lot of people I see online really signaling that NIO is a squeeze play, I think they're just hoping for it to be a squeeze and maybe kind of recover to where their average is. I definitely don't see it being there. And plus, on a side note, NIO tends to open their mouth for like almost everything, because in order for a squeeze to occur, you need shorts to be overextended, and they are in NIO's case, because you can tell DTC is sitting at 3.08 days. But you need a surprise catalyst. That's probably more important than anything, is you need a surprise catalyst, because if there's something known that is coming, both longs and shorts can adjust. It has to be a complete and utter surprise, and NIO is horrible for that. They tend to gossip like a high school girl pretty much. But nonetheless, looking at the options, from a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that 5 to 550. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 5. So clearly 5 is a key pivot. With Friday, with it closing at 5.10, that does mean that the $5 and below strike prices are considered in the money. So you do have 11,000 at that $5 strike price, but you actually see some abnormal transactions that did occur after hours on Friday. So most likely market makers already covered that, because we had some big ones again after hours: 4.23 million, 1.27, 754,000, 744,000. So most likely a lot of that, again, could be just some rebalancing, but most likely a lot of that is linked to market makers. So don't anticipate any gamma squeeze or any bump up, but looking forward into this upcoming week, you have roughly around 7,000 at that 5, 6,000 at the 550, and then 8,000 at that 6. So nothing really crazy. I think just everyone and their dog is kind of waiting for just the monthly numbers. And it's kind of weird, even from a bull bear standpoint, there's not really much movement anticipated. And again, I think this week is a shorter week. Friday, no different than last week, we should be seeing very low volume, as a lot of institutions will kind of take the second off That way they'll have the first and second off, so don't anticipate any crazy moves on the Friday. Aside from that though, with it at 510, it is smack dab in the middle between this R2 and this R1. So 506, 511 is going to be the next strong kind of support as well as target. 520 followed by 543 will be the following kind of resistance points. If there is, for whatever reason, they miss on their numbers, then it could consolidate. So just watch for 497, 488, 483, and then 474. This S3 has been diamond. So that was tested, I think 2 weeks back, and it bounced off of that. So we do know going forward that this is going to be a big one. One thing as well that could really move the broader market is on Tuesday, and that is going to be FOMC minutes. I know technically has absolutely zero relevance to NIO, but that will move the broader market because it's going to change the mentality of a January cut, and NIO is going to get moved through algorithmic trading. So don't be surprised on Tuesday if you see some kind of abnormal price action as per usual. Aside from all of that though, on the actual chart, it's showing some optimistic kind of movement. We've seen this happen in the past. This is typically followed by shorts really hitting it hard just to kind of break the momentum. But Friday was able to close above that 10 and also 200-day moving average. So that 506 is going to be a key level you really want to watch for it to close above Monday. So Monday is going to be a big day as well based on the technicals, because you do need 2 consecutive days to really signal a trend. So again, tomorrow is, or I guess, yeah, Monday is going to be a pretty big day overall. Stochastic RSI, because of the recent price action, has it at 79, so arguably overbought. So what that does truly mean is a first sign of weakness, you could see some consolidation. And of course, with them having their monthly numbers coming up right around the corner, that is going to be that big potential negative. So we'll just have to wait and see. Looking at the flow though, algorithmic trading as per usual has been a very big deal, and I'd like to say that their monthly numbers is going to prompt some new analyst ratings, but didn't happen for September, October, November. So I think analysts just don't really care so much about it as they once did in the past. So hopefully we get maybe 1 or 2 ratings, but I'm not going to really hold my breath for that to occur. So nonetheless, I do feel that NIO has a good opportunity to really move higher based on the technicals, and as well with them putting out their numbers. And like I said, they're really, aside from that, there's not really much planned for this upcoming week. So let me know your general thoughts on NIO. Are you buying this week? Are you selling? Are you kind of doing any options to hedge against their monthly numbers, or for this week? What are you kind of doing? One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades, worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. And I do have a $1.50 promotion that is valid up until the end of the month. And so if you get in, it will never increase. It's going to be $1.50 a month. So pop over there, check that out. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.